Yep, your mic's off.
It's possible I could be tripping. That's one of the possibilities today. Twisted.
That's why it's twisted. That's why it's Twisted Tuesday.
Wow. I mean, Terri had to wake me up. I was sleeping so hard. What a day. I saw Dom in the comments. Let me see what the comments said. Yeah. Had you seen the comments, Terri? Could you see them?
Oh, I just have them on here. Hi, Jax. Hi, Allie. Hi, Dom. Good to see you today.
Sorry, guys. I'm taking up your lunch break. Oh, the cat.
Oh, and I've been thinking a lot about you, Allie. I know it's been a challenging few days for you.
Oh. Is something going on with her cat?
She lost her cat.
Oh. Now I understand.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so sorry. Gosh, I've thought about that with Archer, and I was like, I will never get another cat again. Oh my gosh.
It is heartbreaking. I know that's happened many times, so for me, so I know.
Yeah. So
anyhow,
today was Twisted Tuesday. I guess. What was the question that I asked you, Terri? Do you remember?
No.
Because it led to this weird conversation.
Yeah, we were having so many conversations, Erica. I can't remember which one. Erasing limitations and embracing total freedom. That's what you have up here.
Oh man, where is it? Oh, okay. So we had that conversation. I accidentally ended up on YouTube. All I was doing was looking for Nina Simone, and somehow I ended up on one of my friends' live streams, and then he had his StreamYard up, and I was like, "Let me talk about it." And I was I think we were talking about if things were reversed. I think I asked another person. I said, how can you do it? Like as a man, because I'm a woman. In theory, like we're like in this position where we're females that are on our own, right? Dealing with pressure of life and children and our home. And then I thought to myself, like, what makes a man think that he can be married to a woman and like take care of her, lead her, like lead me, lead Terri. Like this man must be crazy if he was like thinking, I think I can shoulder, because I'm feeling what I'm shouldering. And I'm like, if somebody else was gonna have bigger shoulders that I could cry on, because doing what the things I feel like I'm doing, and then to actually, have input and say and think that, and then say, I'm gonna have 4 kids and I'm gonna have a house. And it's like life is so much responsibility. And I was thinking about adulting and who would dare step forward to say, I'm big enough and strong enough. And because the show last night had to do with it was, you know, my friend Virgil, he's a man and he's talking about the roles of men, but just how men are suffering and but they're not able to express themselves properly, and how they need to learn how to express their own emotions and how to build a support system. Because, you know, with women we have, like, you know, it's a big you go girl, independent um movement, right? Like, it's been a movement for quite some time of women supporting women, but it's like, where's the support for men? And I guess he has a perspective of where he is in his demographic, and I just brought to the table that I see that for men all over the world. But then I was thinking, like, I was a man, like, would I ever say, marry me and I'm gonna take care of you and I'm like lead you and tell you what to do or have input? Like, oh my gosh. So we were, I guess, thinking about, I was thinking male to female in reverse. Like, what would your life be like if you reversed all that you had and changed, you know, like kind of like an opposite day? But then Terri thought of a whole new perspective, which was, I asked you, and I'm going to go in here. Hmm. What would that be for you? Okay. I'm sure we will think of something. You can have your own thing. Like, if the world was upside down, what would that mean for you? Something opposite, something twisted. And you said that that would mean breaking free of the box. So not only I was thinking in reverse, but you were thinking, what if we basically erased all the lines and built things from the bottom up? What would that mean for you? And it seemed like your opposite world is complete freedom.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And
tell
well, you know what? It's interesting because I guess having lived to this point, I lived within very much a structure, very structured, right? And this is what you're supposed to do. You know, like you're supposed to do this and this and this, and this was what was going to make you happy, and you have all of these things that you're supposed to do based on having watched my society, um, but that doesn't give you any freedom, and it doesn't give you freedom to think, because you have to think within a society. If you think outside the box, then you are weird. And do we want to be called weird? No. You know, we try and conform, and yet, gee whiz, it doesn't, that box doesn't fit me. And so, um, for me, I think if everything was upside down, there would, having no box to sort of, um, in a sense, it's almost like almost a safety net, but it prevents you from just testing to see what is the nature of reality, because we're told, I was told, this is what reality is, and no, you can't think this way, you can't think that way. And as soon as you start to think outside of that, then people look at you kind of weird, and you're so, I'm so ingrained in a society, and I think it's, just because of my age, my generation, that people my generation don't always think about things in the same way that somebody 30 years younger might think. So I suppose I'm probably not making much sense here, but I'm just thinking that if things were changed a little bit, um, I would not have the construction, the box that I had. I'd like it a little bit more access to the weirdness, I guess. But maybe we're all sort of at that place. Your mic is turned off.
What you're saying is not confusing to me at all, because it takes me back to that conversation. We were talking to Chanel about the Hierophant, and I read that part of the book. And the Hierophant and the Tower cards are the structure that's in place that says follow these rules, because it's almost as if, so, you know, the no, I want to say society, we'll say the system or the structure says that we've already tested our limits and we've decided that the greater good, we need to stay inside this box. We've tested the boundaries. We've let y'all have polygamy. We've let you have this. We've let you do that. And we decided that this is for your greater good. And so what that chapter that I read said that people will try to break those walls and try to build new ideas, but they have very little experience and did very little examination. And because they have not necessarily done lots of research, they will quickly grab onto new ideas and build rules with new walls and new boxes, but it will be even more rigid and inflexible and harsh than what they feel that the system has already in place for them. Like, it just reminds me of like a lot of liberal ideas. Not that you're not liberal or liberated, but when it comes to that classification of liberal, it's screaming in people's faces and protesting, throwing blood on people, or just doing certain things, because you're saying all people should have this, all people should do that, and they put this new set of rules on people. But even that idea, what you're saying though, is the box is safety. The box is comforting, and a lot of people are fighting to keep the box and keep the structure because they don't want to know what it's like to come outside of that. It is actually scary, and that's one thing you're saying, is that it's actually scary. Those lines being great.
So I will go into my personal life. I had a relationship which I just that just ended. But one of the things that he said is, you're two different people. You live in this area where you do what's expected of you, but you are a totally different area. When are you going to be the other person that you really are, instead of being what's expected? and it was like, that's true. And so that's why I chose to move on, because I have this box that I live in within my society, and I have expanded, in my higher self, in my awareness. I can travel through the void. I can travel through the quantum field, but gee, I end up here and living within the parameters of that box. And so I have to, for me to move into this other area, I'm sort of at that cusp. I'm not always living in that box, but gee whiz, that box pulls me back in. And meanwhile, there's that aspect of me that wants to break those boundaries. So it's now finding that ability to do it and leave that comfort, leave that space that has that security in a sense, even though it's not secure. It's false security, but that's what you've known, and those are your patterns. So it's breaking through those patterns and moving into that sense of freedom without the boundaries. So, see, I'm
shocked. You got challenged, huh?
I got challenged, yeah. I'm challenged all the time, but yeah.
Wow. So when you received that challenge,
but I have to go back. he challenged me, right? But he still wanted me within the box. He didn't want the part that's outside of the box. He wanted
I don't know if
the
he was
structure of the
challenging
box.
you to live outside the box. I think he was challenging, like last week we said, what do you have to lose? And he really wanted you to stop. I don't know. I think he wanted you to come back inside the box, like come back
Yes,
inside this box with me.
exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
So he was basically saying, make up your mind. Either, I'd rather, and yeah, because
Yeah.
he was really not supportive of you being outside that box. He was not supportive of that outside the box, Terri. He was like, get back in here with me where it's safe. And shut that computer off and get back in here and let's watch the walls together. like no. You know what, too? That is it. It's so strange because since we're going here with that, I've ended up dating people that were like, you're different. Wow. And then as we go along, they begin to say, well, why are you always doing this? And why are you always doing that? And I'm like, people will see me, know I'm different. And then they like it for some reason. They're attracted to it, but they can't deal with it. And they just want me to stop being different. Mm-hmm. And this one guy, he would tell me, I know y'all heard me say it before, 9 out of 10 women do this. And I would say, well, go all 9 of them then, because I'm not changing for you. If I change for somebody, it's going to be for me. And so I don't know. I think that's it. Like, I am embracing my freedom because we're on here doing this and we're traveling and we're, hanging out, doing the things that we do, talking about the subjects that we talk about. And I'm not going to be in the box. Even some things that we talked about yesterday with cloning, we're like, there's minimal ideas even when it comes to that. And I was like, well, what about this? What about that? Like, let's stretch it. Let's dig it even further, even deeper, because sometimes even in this community, like there's some ideas that are pretty rigid. They're pretty much set on what people have already read in someone else's books. But what if we go deeper in our own thinking and expand on that, some of those ideas of what's going to happen and what ascension looks like and where you go when you die and all these different things to just challenge people's minds on that and think deeper. I know we've got some stuff inside Dolores Cannon's books and the Law of One. And it seems like everything is kind of built on that, even though I think a lot of people don't know it. Like, I think a lot of our ideas are built on that, but
it probably,
I don't know, I'm just into challenging the mind.
It gave a structure, right? And then people built on that structure. It was a foundation. Whether they realized it or not, that was the foundation that they built on. And so then they take their perspective around that simulation.
That's exactly it, Dom, on one's own experience. Because I did have a reader tell me, I didn't know what a walk-in was at the time. All I know is my sister would tell me these stories of things that I did. And they would be things that I absolutely don't remember. There's things I remember clear as a bell. And these are like some maybe dramatic or major things. And then some things I don't remember at all. But even having conversations with people and 5 minutes later, getting into an argument as an adult saying, I did not say that. I did not do that. I had posed to this person that there were several versions of me. That person did not accept that because I said, maybe it's a walk-in or maybe that's me number 36. And they were like, oh, well, you didn't have this. They said you didn't have a near-death experience. So that can't be possible. And so whatever book he read, he thought that could not be possible. But I've talked to other people who think it's very much possible. But then again, I guess they say too, with the walk-in spirit, like, I guess that doesn't happen during childhood. Like, say if you drowned when you were 3 years old, literally drowned, that they said that that wasn't like a normal case where a walk-in thing would happen. But then I know we talked to somebody else. Oh, I know what happened. Yeah. I mean, I was told that at 2 times that there was an attempt on my life. So at 2 separate times, but who knows? But I didn't really accept their definition. All I know is what happened to me, you know. I'm not saying that I am a walk-in spirit or anything like that, but I don't know. It was just based on his experience. I just noticed that I was talking to this one teacher and they were very rigid in their ideas of what could possibly, they were dismissive based on certain ideas. Yeah. Yeah. So what does upside down look like? What does it look like instead of blurred lines, like the song says? What if you erase the lines about the structure around you? What would you have left? What things would you keep and what things would you get rid of? I believe would be more like it, but we'll see what the card says. Because
Yeah,
it's a difficult thing to talk about in a way.
it is. I have to. I do. I'm going to relay a dream that I had a while ago, and it was. And I may have talked about this dream before, but I think it is very relevant to what we're talking about. I was in the dream. I was going somewhere, and I knew where I was going, and I was following this road, and I came to a bridge, and when I crossed the bridge, the road was gone. All it was an open field of mud, and it wasn't thick, deep mud. It was just sort of like after you get a rain, and it's just that surface mud, and it was like I don't know which way to go because it was just this big open space of mud, and way off somewhere there's maybe were some trees or whatever, but there was no road to take. And so I stopped there at the edge of the bridge and I thought, well, maybe what I have to do is go back and go around because there was another road, but it was a long way around. And as I was thinking about it, my higher guidance says, how do you know that that road is still going to be there? And it's like, oh crap. So I started to trudge through the field, through the mud, and like it wasn't deep. And I thought, okay, I'm just going to keep going and see whether it's going to take me to wherever it was I was going to go. And I didn't know what was in front of me, but I just kept going because going back was not an option. And so I was walking into the sunset, and that dream stuck with me, and it was such a metaphor for life. We can't go back, right? And even if we try and go back, it's not going to be the same because everything's always changing. So even what we thought was still possible is not there. So we just have to make our way through, and just whatever is on the path that we forge, we'll somehow deal with it. But I suppose that's what happens if we break outside the box. We can't go back in the box. So that box will never be comfortable in that box. It's like they say, once you know, you know. So it's like there's no option but to just go forward. So I am taking the cards here.
True. They say once you've been a millionaire, like you lose your money, you can't go back. Like, so either you'll find a way to be a millionaire or you won't be able to stay inside. You won't be able to take it anymore. You like your energy is expanded. Once you reach a certain point, your energy expands and you can't really go back. Like just go back to not knowing about 2020, everything you learned in 2020, or you can't go back to the innocence of your third grade self either.
Okay, so I selected cards from the Sacred Forest. And the 3 cards I got was, the first one was the Butterfly Spirit, which is about transformation. The second one is the bluebird spirit, the bluebird of happiness. And the third one is standing stones passage. And I think, this is, it is about our transformation. We're at a point where we have come to this awareness. The other people aren't there. We are at a point of awareness that we are transforming, and it's like we've crossed that bridge. We can't go back, so we have to allow for the transformation. And I think finding that ability within ourselves to spread those wings and be the butterfly. We're just emerging out of the cocoon, and we can't go back to being a caterpillar. So we're going to have to learn to transform and to be that butterfly, to open up and just explore what are the next, what does the future hold? What are the energies like that we are now moving into? And when we have this bluebird of happiness, we have that ability to choose to be happy. Happiness is a choice. We can sit and feel down and blue about things that, oh, I don't have this, I don't have that. Well, this card is transformation. Transform it and transform your thoughts to that place of happiness. And instead of thinking about what we don't have, looking at what we do have and how far we've come and how far we've evolved in our thought processes, in our ability to deal with the challenges we have in life. Because any of us who are at this point have faced many challenges. We're not babies in the sense spiritually. We have endured a lot of hardships, and the hardships that you've had, Erica, what I've had, what Jax, what Dom, what Allie have had. Our hardships have all been different, but we come together and we meld it together, and then we can move together, move forward together. And even though we didn't have the same experiences that our friends have had, we can feel that, and they can be that force that helps us to transform. And the last one is the standing stone, the passages. I think we are here that we help each other, and we make that passage into that new energy, which can call ascension or whatever. But we have the support of the people who have also had the challenges and have left that box. And so we're now forming a new way of being, because we're saying that box, that matrix doesn't fit us anymore. And so how can we transform it? How can we move forward and be in a place of happiness and bliss? So that's how I see it. I'm going to take one card here from the abundance deck, and that is receiving. And that one is every day it becomes easier to receive the highest divine plan and to trust my inner guidance. And so I think the inner guidance that we have is what's connected to the source. And so we have to just learn to accept it and trust it, and that we can move forward, and whatever is before us, we can overcome it. Because we've had the past, whatever we overcame in the past propels us forward. So that's what the cards have spoken to me. But do you have to add to that, Erica?
I would say this. As we begin to notice the discord around us, like notice that there's been people around you, and we've been going on this track side by side for quite some time. But
Mhm.
now you notice that people maybe here, you're going here and they're going here. And boom, we're crashing. Some of us, some people are crashing right into us, and we're like, whoa, buddy, you're stepping on my toe. You're blocking me, you're in my way, or there's this friction. And it's completely shocking to you because you feel like, well, we've been going down this road just fine in the correct lanes. And now all of a sudden, these people are basically in opposition of you. Do not be afraid of that. Do not let that stand in your way, slow you down, or stop you when you know that you're on your correct path. It's just time for that person it's time to drop these things off. But what you will notice is things like this. Here it is, like next week, we're going to do this interview with Al Samara. I don't know how to say her name. Saramaga. Saramaga. I'm going to pull the book up anyway so people can see it. Not necessarily the book. Oh, I don't even have the flyer. Lord have mercy. What's going on? So we're going to do this interview. And I think I shared it with Dom. Let me see something. Ah, there it is. I shared it with Dom. And but at the same time, Dom is sending us last night the professor who had a near-death experience. And I said, Dom, why did you send me this? When I said, guess what? We're about to do this. And it's a whole compilation of people's stories. We've had Stephen Novak on before, but it's going to be discussing all these people's near-death experience. And at the same time, I'm working on the flyer or this little book cover thing that I made. Dom sends me the coach having the near-death experience, that 30-minute clip. And I was like, this is uncanny. But what I'm noticing is things like that, Terri, where you could be talking about something, or look how I just bumped into my friend and we end up talking about this. But there's still people that are on your same page. And you notice those are the people you're going to be working with more or being closer to, or don't be disheartened by those ones that are falling off to the side because they're just probably not a part of your mission. You know what I mean? They've been a part of you up until now, and it's time to just move forward. Don't let that slow you down and stop you. And sometimes we can be so stunned by the events that we're just standing there looking. You don't have to let that slow you down. Just keep moving forward, knowing that better things are coming. Golly, I had a card drop out. I don't know what happened to it. Did I just pick it back up? Oh gosh. Anyway, I had a card drop out. I don't know where it went. And this was
the gemstone. Okay. Angels and gemstones.
Yeah, I like that. Well, we'll just see with another one. But don't let that stop you. Don't let that stop you. What's not for you is just not for you. Don't let that come out, to slow you down. Ooh, some pyrite.
Ooh.
So we got some pyrite. Let me see. I'm going to move myself like this.
Right.
I don't know if you can see it. Are you worried about money? Are you willing to accept prosperity in your life? You can earn unlimited income doing what you love to do, use skills, follow your dreams, have confidence, believe in yourself and your ability to be successful. The angel of entrepreneurship. I have a feeling that card totally suits you too, Dom. And Jax, and plenty of other people. Because we're trying to see how are we going to do this? Like, even for you, Terri, too, like, you're already an entrepreneur, but it's like that deeper step of
The next step. Yeah.
next step. I am prosperous and abundant in all of my endeavors. I have limitless potential and I fulfill my highest purpose. I naturally attract what I need to be joyously successful. I earn unlimited income doing what I love. And when they say abundant in resources, you'll be funny how abundance also means like, oh, you get something for free, or someone gives you a gift, or like abundance comes in many ways that allows you to move more freely. You know, maybe you don't have to buy the new car, but maybe someone says, you know, could you use this? You know what I mean? Like, it's the same as having money, but it's always like the same as having money. Sometimes it's cash flow, sometimes it's assets, sometimes it's friendships and relationships. But don't be afraid of it. And I think it's so funny because I was going to light a candle last night, and with my intentions, I was thinking about having what I need at all times. Not only that I'm a joyful giver, but what is the equivalent of being a joyful giver is that I can receive properly. I don't know what the word was I came up with last night, but that I am a gracious receiver, because sometimes part of our issue is not that we don't know how to be a good giver because we're generous, but we also need to be able to receive. And so I just want to encourage people in that aspect of being a good receiver. Don't be afraid to receive.
Right.
It's like, have you ever been? I know you've been to Asia, and if you go to someone's house and if they offer you food, you have to what, Terry?
Yeah. You accept it. You
And you
receive
have to
it.
take a bite. You have to at least take a bite.
Yeah, and let me tell you, I've been to China, and I've been to restaurants where they have had food on the table that just doesn't quite do it for me. But you know what? You have to be polite and try it. And I'll tell you, one of the things actually when we were living in Taiwan, we used to go to a lot of dinners and stuff, and one of the things that they loved to serve, which was a real delicacy, was mud guppies. Oh my God.
I thought you were going to say some type of snail.
Well, they had those too, but the mud guppies were really not very appetizing. Yeah. I was not served scorpions, but I know my husband had been served scorpions, and it was just like, okay, yeah.
Those are just like crawdads, right?
I didn't
don't
have
like crawdads either.
Yeah. Yeah, but yes, and so you do accept that, even a little bit.
So I'm a grateful and receptive receiver. I think a lot of times too, we're so used to turning down gifts until you wonder why the universe stops giving them to you, because you don't accept them. You know, we have to become good receivers. So that's all I had to say about that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you know what? I just want to say about receiving something isn't about what you get out of it. It's about what the other person who is giving that is the part. So as a receiver of it, it's not, we can't be sitting there saying, oh, I don't like this, or I don't want this, take it back. Because what you've done is you've now taken the power away from the person that gave you something. And you know, we see that. So it's being ungrateful, right? When we don't say, well, I don't like that, or I don't want that, or I want this, I want that. And so then you're forcing the other person to, you're taking their power away.
Can you see that, Terry?
Yeah.
Deep fried tarantulas.
I ain't going there. I don't like spiders.
Maybe it tastes like fried spinach. I could imagine.
No, chicken legs. Tastes like chicken.
Oh. All right.
Yeah.
Well, you all, we'll see you in the Women of Stars group chat, and
have a wonderful week. This was our Twisted Tuesday. I was thinking what was Twisted Tuesday, and I was thinking of the Twisted Sister song. I ain't gonna take it anymore. So
that's what that is.
Yeah, Twisted Sister.
I didn't know who that was.
Mm.
I used to love that song.
Yeah.
That's when we didn't have so many lines on music. We all listened to the same music.
Dom says, if you fry it, I might eat it. If you dip it in batter, right, and deep fry it till it's crispy, you won't know what it is.
Twisted Sister.
Carrots, please.
May I be excused, please? Yes.
No, I've never seen this.
No.
Have you?
No.
What the heck is this?
What is that?
Such bad acting.
I know what that is. That's music.
Douglas, see, please. He's just a child.
Don't Douglas see me.
It looked like he was popping his shirt open for a second. They might shut our whole video down trying to watch this.
All right, mister, what do you think you're doing? You call this a room? This is a pigsty. I want you to straighten up this area now. You are a disgusting slob. Stand up straight. Tuck in that shirt. Adjust that belt buckle. Tie those shoes. Twisted Sister. What is that? Wipe that smile off your face. Do you understand? What is that? A Twisted Sister pin on your uniform? What kind of a man are you? You're worthless and weak. You do nothing. You are nothing. You sit in here all day and play that sick, repulsive, electric twanger. I carried an M16 and you carry that guitar. Who are you? Where do you come from? Are you listening to me? What do you want to do with your life?
I want to rock.
Gee whiz, Terry, that seems so appropriate.
I've never seen that before. Dom says he hasn't either.
That seems so appropriate for what we're talking about. I was going to say, if that guy didn't say he was in the military, because he sounded like a straight up drill sergeant. That was insane. Oh, well, I don't want to play any more of it because I don't want the whole video to get booted off. They'll be like, this is for educational purposes and all that. Great. Wow. All right. That's bucket system, y'all.
Okay.
That's crazy.
Let's rock.
Let's rock.